What's going on, man? It is a beautiful Monday, another beautiful week, and another perfect time for a mock draft. If you did not see, if you didn't look at my community post, if you didn't look at the socials, we did put out a schedule and we will be doing a mock draft every Monday. So let's get into this one.
You want Philly?
Yeah, let's do it.
What's going on, you guys? It's your boy Joe Castro, aka Philly Fresco, and it is Philly the podcast. So today we are going to be doing another mock draft. Very excited for this one. No players that I chose on 1.0 will be on 2.0. There still is no trades within the draft, but what I went ahead and did is add 2 trades to the end that are possibles, and I want to see what you guys think. So definitely stick around for that. But before we get into this mock draft, be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe, join the family. We are on the road. I'm gonna stop saying 5K. We on the road to 1 million, y'all. You know what I'm saying? So hit that like, hit that subscribe, join the family. Let's blow this thing up. But let's get into this mock draft. So the first player off the board at number 10 is going to be the edge rusher out of Texas A&M, Tyree Wilson. Now, there's a lot of edge rushers in the front half of this draft that I think are very good, and a couple, once you get into day 2, that can definitely make some impact. Tyree is a guy that I really feel like has uber upside. We know what he is right now. He was second in the Big 12 as far as pass rush win rate goes. He played most of his career on the outside of the linebacking core, played a little bit inside, but a lot of people are saying where he will fall in best for the NFL will be at that edge rushing position. We need that. We need that. At 6'6", I believe he is, around 280. He's got the size. He's got freakish athleticism. There's definitely going to be some things that he's going to have to work on. You know, there's definitely going to be some things that when he comes to the NFL level, he's going to have to fix. You know, getting off the ball, he sometimes misinterprets the snap count, however you want to say it, sometimes making some penalties, not able to get off the ball as quickly as you maybe want your edge rusher to. That's something he's going to have to work on. He's obviously going to have to, add to his pass rush moves because that wasn't all he was asked to do in college. It most likely will be all he's asked to do at the next level. So he's definitely going to have to work on that. But at the end of the day, I think that this kid is just the athleticism, the frame, the size, the speed. He has it all. He really does have it all. The floor is very high for a kid like Tyree, but the ceiling can be exponential. So I think that this is a guy that fits into what the Eagles want to do almost perfectly. And another thing that I'll say, his worst game, I can't remember the exact, I want to say it's Oklahoma State. I could be 100% wrong about that, but his worst game when watching his tape, he played the most in that game. He had the most snaps in his worst rated game per PFF. I say that to say this: when he comes to the Philadelphia Eagles, if he comes to the Philadelphia Eagles, he's going to be looking at shared snaps. Even if he is the starter, he's going to be looking at a rotation. We can kind of take care of that, gas, because it felt like he just got gassed in that game. We can take care of that because he's not going to be asked to go out there and play 80% of the snaps. So I think this is not only a perfect fit for the Eagles, might be a perfect fit for Tyree. So at number 10, I got the Philadelphia Eagles going edge rusher with Tyree Wilson. I know the first thing everybody's probably saying is, where's our cornerback? How are you going to take a hit? We need a cornerback. So I went ahead and took care of that here. This is a guy that I've been pretty high on. Like, I think that there's probably 5 cornerbacks in this draft that have a first-round grade. Eli Ricks is a guy that I really like. He's probably a little bit outside of the first round, but Emmanuel Forbes is somebody I feel comfortable with taking at that number 30 position. I think that the upside is there, the floor is there, and I think that you are giving yourself basically a JB Light, a James Bradbury Light. This kid is very physical. He's 6 foot, 180, very, very physical, out of Mississippi State, so he's played some really good competition. This past year, he's held his opposing quarterbacks to under 43% QBR, which is very, very good. He's got the ball skills, 14 interceptions, I believe, throughout his career, 6 of them going back for touchdowns. The ball skills are there. He can definitely help you in the run game. There's some things that he needs to get better. There's definitely things he needs to get better. He's very physical, but he definitely does get beat by stronger wide receivers. He's not the biggest. He's not the strongest in the world. He's just very chippy, very physical. That can also hurt him at the next level. You see a lot of these guys, and look, I've been I've said this about a couple of cornerbacks that have made me look stupid for saying it. I said it about Patrick Surtain. He was a little handsy. At the next level, it doesn't seem to have hurt him that much. This could be something that happens with Emmanuel Forbes. I think that Emmanuel Forbes has good enough speed. He's not a speed demon by any stretch of the imagination, but he has decent speed. He has good enough recovery speed. I think that if you put him alongside Darius Slay for a year, maybe even 2, at that number 2 position, I think that he will flourish. I think that after a year or 2 in the NFL, you will really see his full potential, and I think he's ready to start right now, like I said, at that 2 position. You're getting basically James Bradberry. Obviously, James Bradberry went outside of his mind this previous year, but I think that you really are getting the same physical attributes, the same tools, the same versatility that a James Bradberry gave you. Now, Emmanuel Forbes, I know I'm going to tackle this right now. People are going to say that's way too high. You're bugging out. I truly feel like if you don't take a cornerback here, you're very likely to not get one. There's a couple guys, maybe a Tyreek Stevens from Miami, I believe he's from. He might be a guy that can, hop in and play right away. Maybe a Eli Ricks, like I said, he can hop it. Maybe you get lucky with one of these guys. But I really do feel like Emmanuel Forbes might be one of the last guys that you can grab in the first round or maybe close to the early second and feel comfortable with him going out there and starting for your team. So with the number 30 pick, I got Emmanuel Forbes coming off for the Philadelphia Eagles. With our next pick, I got the Eagles addressing something that I didn't address in the first draft, and you guys all let me know it in the comments. Everybody was asking me, we need to get a guard. We need a guard. Y'all were saying running back too. I'm a spoiler alert that already. I didn't get a running back in this one, but you guys told me to do a guard, to get somebody on that interior offensive line, because we don't know what's going to be happening with Isaac Seumalo. We don't know what's going to happen with Jason Kelce. While we all feel comfortable with a Cam Jurgens stepping in, we don't know what's going to happen, right? Maybe Jason Kelce comes back. We're looking for it. Who knows? So I went ahead and I got John Michael Schmitz out of Minnesota. This kid is just big. I mean, 320 pounds. I think 6'4", around there. The kid's just big, strong, beefy. He's gonna make some guys lay on their back, and that's what I love to see. He's gonna pancake a lot of these players on that interior line. We need somebody like that. You see a lot of these defensive tackles now are just huge, beefy guys. You look at Jordan Davis, right? How are you gonna stop a guy that big? Well, you go ahead and you get yourself a dog that's that big, right? So John Michael Schmitz, look, I think that there's a lot of things he's got to work on as far as his agility, as far as his technique. I think that there's some things, sometimes in the tape I saw, at least, it felt like he was kind of just diving at defenders at sometimes, and you don't want to see that. Now, the one thing I will say is that the measurables are pretty good, right? Like I said, he's very strong. He has decent enough technique that it can be built upon. So what am I saying? I'm saying give this guy to Stoutland, give Stoutland a dog like this, and see what he can do with him. I think that this is a guy that maybe, and picking him this high, maybe you're sitting here like, well, then why would you take him? Maybe not first year, he's great, but I think that after a year in an offense, after a full off season, knowing he's that guy, I think that you'll see a definite improvement upon him. And I think he can play both sides. So he gives you that versatility even in year one. If you don't want to start him year one, he gives you that versatility that he can be kind of a swing guard. I know that's not really a thing, but he can do that. He can play on the outside a little bit. This is a guy that I think offers you a lot in the way of development and versatility. Like I said, maybe not off the blocks, he's going to be the guy that you look at and be like, wow, I can't believe we got him. But I think he can grow into a position with this team, and I think that he's a good pick right here. And look, guard is another position. Interior offensive line, in my opinion, is another position that you're kind of taking. You're taking stabs. A lot of these guys are either young or they've played all over the offensive line, haven't really had to stick at one spot. John Michael Schmitz, I think, is a guy, although he's older at 24, he's a redshirt senior. That may, kind of hurt his draft stock a little bit. I think he knows who he is, knows what he has to do, knows what he has to work on. And I think that works in the favor of the Philadelphia Eagles. So here I got us taking offensive guard, center. It's interior offensive lineman, John Michael Schmitz. And I like that name. I like that name. We can all make cool little rhymes off that. You know what I mean? John, Jacob, Janglehammer. We can do so much with that. Bring them on in, Howie. Bring them on in. All right, so if you know me, you know I'm a Penn State fan. So what I'm about to say is going to hurt my heart. But Michigan has some good players, okay? And I'm not afraid to go get some of those. And one of those is defensive tackle Mazi Smith. A little bit undersized depending on who you ask. I think he's like 6'3", just above 300 pounds. Yeah, a little bit undersized, right? He's not like the big mammoth guy that you're used to seeing in that defensive tackle spot, but he gives you a little bit of versatility. I'm not saying he's an edge rusher. He's far from that, but he gives you that athleticism. He gives you that pop off the line, and he reminds me a lot of a Javon Hargrave. Will he be Javon Hargrave off, the first game? No, I doubt he will be, but the skill set is there. It reminds me a lot of him. There's going to be some technique building when it comes to Mazi Smith. There's going to be, teaching him how to utilize his leverage, teaching him maybe some more moves up at that defensive line. But I think that this is a guy you can plug and play right away. I think that Mazi Smith brings that new level, new genre of defensive tackles where you have that athleticism, you have that pass rush capability. And again, like I said, he reminds me of a Javon Hargrave. Not much to say about this kid in the way of negatives. I think that the size is really what is going to hold him back. He wasn't the most productive player in the world, but I don't think his production was the worst. I think he's a guy you got to watch the tape and really look at him and see if he fits your defense. And I think he will for us. I think he brings enough to the run game, and like I said, he brings enough to the pass rush game that he's a guy you can put in right away. And again, this is when I say put in right away, we all have to remember the Eagles like to run this club, right? This rotation is what I was looking for. This rotation of defensive linemen. So I think that he would add to that, and he would just bring a different style of play than maybe a Jordan Davis does, than a Javon Hargrave does. Somewhere in the middle of that. He's got the strength, he's got the athleticism. So I like Mazi a lot. It's unfortunate that he picked such a terrible school. But I like Mazi. I think that at this position in the draft, I think it's a great pick for the Eagles, and we need some defensive tackle play. We need some interior defensive linemen. I think Mazi checks off a lot of boxes for the Philadelphia Eagles, so we went ahead and got defensive tackle Mazi Smith out of a horrible school. I'm not even going to say a horrible school. All right, so I went ahead and put the last two together because why not? In the interest of time, I won't make this like a 25-minute video. But I got Jason Taylor the second, the safety, and I got Trey Tucker, the wide receiver. I believe Trey Tucker is out of Cincinnati, and Jason Taylor, I want to say, is out of Oklahoma State. Why did I take these two guys? Because it's the 7th round and you got to take some flyers, guys. We got to have some fun here. No, the Eagles need a safety. The Eagles are in the market for a safety. And Jason Taylor really reminds me a lot of a Reed Blankenship in a lot of kind of ways. Maybe not as... I don't even know how Reed Blankenship played so well. I think he was just so good within the system, within who he was, knew the system very well, knew where to be. But Jason Taylor brings that big hit. He's going to go out there and just lay his body out on guys. He's got good coverage. He's got very good speed. He's a guy that can definitely stick with a lot of wide receivers, stick with those tight ends. There's a lot to be, there's a lot to learn for this kid. Obviously, at 7th round pick, he's not going to be a perfect prospect, right? He's not a blue chip athlete right now. But at the end of the day, I think that he has the base. He has the core. He has what you can build upon. And at the position, I think safety, you want to get younger. I think he's a guy that can definitely step in, maybe help you in your big nickel packages. Maybe you want to push Chauncey Gardner-Johnson down to a wide receiver. You now have another safety that can go in there and make some plays for you. I like this kid. I really do. Like I said, he's not a huge name. I don't know if he even gets drafted, if I'm being honest, but I wanted to bring him up because I think that he's a very interesting prospect and somebody that can definitely grow in the right system. And look, I think we have the right system. I don't even care who our defensive coordinator is at right now. We have a very good culture in Philadelphia, and I think that bringing on kids that can learn from that culture, learn from the guys in front of them, can only help. And if you bring a Chauncey Gardner-Johnson back, I think Jason would benefit from that tremendously. So I would love to see a Jason Taylor on there. I just would love to see him hit somebody for the Philadelphia Eagles. That would be a beautiful day for me. Now, Trey Tucker, he's like 5'9", but he ran like a 4.29. The Eagles need a kick returner. Now, he is not a guy that he's not one of the best kick returners in the league, but at this position, I think that he was probably the best one available. He has 2 kick return touchdowns in his career, none this previous year. They were both in the middle years. It was sophomore and junior year that he got them, but he was their main kick returner. Didn't do much in the way of punt return. Would be interested to see what he can do there. But at 5'9", the 4'2", 4'3", I guess we'll round it up a little bit, 4'3" speed. I mean, that's what you want out of a kick returner. That's what you want possibly out of a punt returner. Maybe they feel comfortable with Britton Covey. That's fine. We need a kick returner. We need somebody that they can put out there. I've been saying put Quez out there. I don't know why they don't. They just don't. So let's go. Let's see what Trey got. Let's see what Trey got. Again, this is a flyer. I just need, we need returnmen. We need returners. There's some better guys in this draft. I will be 100% honest, but I don't know if I want to spend a top draft pick or even like a top 2 or 3 third round pick on a wide receiver that we are only going to use for that. There's some cornerbacks that are pretty good, but I don't think that they're that great at cornerback. So Trey Tucker at 7th round, look, I'm cool with that. I'm okay with that. That makes sense to me. So there we have it, man. We got our second mock draft out of the way, 2.0. What did I say to you guys? I said I was going to give you 2 trades. So what am I going to do? I'm going to give you 2 trades. Now, one of them is probably going to be a little bit, you guys might not like this one. I'm not going to lie. The first one is going to be with Washington. All right, they sit at number 16. I'm sure, and a lot of this is based on if a quarterback drops to number 10. If a quarterback drops to number 10, our pick might get very sexy to some of these mid-round, mid to late first-round guys that are on the board. There's a lot of teams that could possibly do with a new quarterback, one of them being the Washington Commanders. Obviously, bringing Eric Bieniemy on, so do we really want to help the enemy anymore? I like that I can do that now. Do we really want to help the Ops? But they could give us some good return. I have us giving them the number 10 pick, who they ended up picking Joey Porter Jr. with, so they would have wasted that pick anyway because they need a cornerback. But either way, they would have took that. And then we get pick number 16 from them. We get pick 235 from them, which is a 7th round pick. And we would also get their 2024 first round draft pick. I'm all about getting draft picks next year. And if we're moving back to 16, I think you still can get a very good player, a starter, maybe even a cornerback 1, depending on who's still there. There's still going to be a lot of good players left at that spot. So I would be cool with moving back to number 16. It sucks who it is with, but I wouldn't be mad at it. Now, this one, you might like it a little bit more. We move a little bit further back. We give a little bit more up, but I like this as well. Look, the Eagles giving up the number 10 pick and the number 62 pick to the Detroit Lions for pick number 18 and pick number 48. So we would move up in the, from 62 to 48. We would move down from 10 to 18. Again, you can get some very good players at that spot. Very good players. And you keep your last first round pick. So if you want to trade that, you can. So they would give us the 18th pick, the 48th pick, and their first round pick next year. So those are the 2 trade projections, trade predictions, whatever you want to. Me and my girlfriend were going back and forth on what the heck we would even call it. Maybe leave it in the comment. Is it a trade projection? Is it a prediction? Is it a blah, blah, blah? I don't even know. You make up a name for it. But those are the 2 trades. Maybe I'll do this every mock draft. I'll give you some trade options. You guys let me know what you're thinking. But let me know what you feel about this draft. How do you feel about this draft? Did the Eagles get what we need? What did I miss on? Who did I overdraft? I'm sure you guys are going to let me know. But other than that, man, y'all know what it is. It is Fly Eagles Fly. And we are out here. Peace, ladies and gentlemen. Peace.
Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
Yeah. Fly Eagles flying on the team. Touchdown, touchdown. Time to get Jalen this ring. You don't really want to start a thing. This a Bird Gang Nation, baby. It's a Philly thing. Hater, and you looking like you type trash. I'm just here calling on Philly the podcast. And we can call a man dog or watch Miles score off the handoff. Rest of the division, your man saw Jackson like Sean, hunting like Randall. Season here, early time to do them in. Your boy Philly Fresco. Thanks for tuning in.